Peace. What's good, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go over and talk about Extreme Rules. We're going to go over the match card. I'm going to go ahead and do the preview and predictions. I'm actually excited for Extreme Rules, and it feels special. I feel that we're going to have a bunch of returns. Hopefully, we see the return of Bray Wyatt, which we probably will. Hopefully, we see Sasha and Naomi, and if at all possible, I know that this is going to be unpopular, but kind of bring back Charlotte Flair. I know I hate saying that shit, but it kind of makes the most sense. She's been gone for a minute, and Triple H is super high on Charlotte, same as Vince, so that's the same shit. So I apologize for the background noise. I'm out in nature, so I apologize. But I'm really excited for quite a few matches on the card for sure. I'm definitely excited for Balor versus Edge, and I'm excited for the Fight Pit involving Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. I'm interested in just seeing how they close the show and how they begin the show. I'm very interested in those two aspects, because you could actually open up the show with Liv Morgan and Ronda. You could go and do Bianca and Bayley. You could do the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. There's a shit ton of ways that you could open up the show with, and I'd be fine with it. So speaking of, the matches, let's just go ahead and go right into it, shall we? Bianca versus Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship in a ladder match. This is what I would open up the show with, honestly. To me, it kind of makes sense, to get the crowd into it. Give them maybe about 20 to 25 minutes to do some stuff. I do expect Bayley to win. We'll probably see some involvement with Damage Control and possibly maybe involvement from Sasha and Naomi to set up Survivor Series, to build up, War Games. So that shit might happen. Although I feel bad for Bianca. She's not been used that much in the Triple H era as she was in the Vince era of things. Vince really put her to the forefront, and he strapped a rocket to her and sent her into space. And now, that's kind of died down and cooled off. Her momentum isn't as it once was last year or even earlier this year. So I don't know. I feel bad for Bianca, but we all know more than likely Bayley will be the new Raw Women's Champion. I'm fine with it. It sucks because Damage Control isn't over. They were over, I guess, for the first couple of weeks, but here lately, they have not gotten over. That's just, my honest opinion, and it shows in their crowd reactions. This is not working. The crowd is not into Damage Control as a faction. All three of them are over separately, but not as a unit. Same thing with Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa. So, and that'll probably, lead into War Games anyway. So, yeah. Moving on, the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a Donnybrook match should be fun. Imperium will win. Like, why wouldn't they? Next, Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. Karrion Kross actually needs the win over Drew McIntyre. I would much rather prefer a traditional match between the two first, and then later on have this be the match that ends the feud. But I'm fine with it nonetheless. So Cross does need to win. It makes sense. You could run this back at Survivor Series. You could actually have this feud go until the Royal Rumble, and that's what I would do. Is kind of just let this progress to the Royal Rumble, where you have one final blow off match to end the feud between between Cross and McIntyre. McIntyre, he's gonna have to go through a lot of rebuilding before he can get to where he once was. Um, I like McIntyre, but he's had so much damage done to him that it's gonna take a while for him to get on track. I would like to have him be a heel for a while too, as well. So, like, let's say that Cross does win the feud inevitably. Um, that would cause McIntyre to go heel for at least a good year, and then maybe like in 2024, put him in the title picture again. Um, that's what I would kind of do, but I would spend most of 2023 having McIntyre be a dominant heel. That's how I would do it. Moving on, Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey in a Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I have a sneaky feeling that Ronda will win. It makes sense. Charlotte could make her return and cost Liv. And then you could have a mini feud between Liv and Charlotte, or you could do Ronda and Charlotte and have them have a feud, which would last until the Royal Rumble. So you could go that route. You could also go Shayna Baszler getting involved and costing Liv Morgan as well, or you could have Liv Morgan retain by Shayna accosting Ronda, but that probably won't happen. But I think that we all know it's the end of the line for Liv. She's been champion, I think, for almost. Has it been 3 months? I believe it's been 3 months. Money in the Bank was in June, I believe. Yeah. Money in the Bank was in June. So she's been champion for about 3.5 months, which is decent. That's what I predicted. Her run would be. She would either have like a 3 month run or a 4 month run. So, she served her purpose, and I think Ronda will be fine as SmackDown Women's Champion, especially this heel version of Ronda. So yeah. Next, Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. I wouldn't be mad if this main evented at all. I wouldn't. Although it probably won't. It'll probably be the co-main event, which actually makes the most sense because you want the fight pit to actually be the last thing that we see. Because if you've never seen a fight pit, you need to go back and watch it on NXT. But I think that would be so good for a live crowd to actually see it. It would be great. So I would love if Rollins and Riddle, they main evented, which they probably end up will. But Edge versus Finn Balor, this is going to be great. This is actually one of the matches I'm most excited for. This is actually my second match I'm most excited for on the card. Who needs to win more? I'd say Balor to kind of solidify himself, and it'll probably be where he feuds with Styles, and you could have Styles kind of feud with Balor up until WrestleMania if you wanted to. I mean, you could really go that deep. You could even have him join the Judgment Day or whatever. But I do think that Balor will win. but I don't think it'll be where um, it'll be on edges on a cord. This is what I think is going to happen. I think that Judgment Day is going to get involved, and they're going to beat the ever living shit out of Edge, and this would probably have Beth run down and throw in the white towel, something like that. That's what I think might happen. Or you could do the same thing, but have the referee stop it, where they just beat down the Edge to a bloody pulp, and he loses because of ref stoppage. I don't know, but it'll probably be Beth, coming down and throwing in the towel for Edge. So there's that. I mean, we all know the Edge is on his way out. I think that Edge could probably go one full year, and then he probably needs to fully just go ahead and retire. Because I mean, he has hinted at him retiring, especially when Raw was in Toronto like a few weeks ago. He hinted to that, so I wouldn't be shocked if he did. And he might do a couple of one-offs once he's fully retired. Um, I would love to see him as a backstage producer or as a coach, or kind of like doing both. So I could see Edge doing that once he fully retires. That would be great. Main event: Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit with Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Um, I don't know who needs this win more. I really don't. I'm gonna go out here on a limb and say that Rollins will win, because I know that Lashley mentioned that he wants to challenge Rollins next week for the U.S. title, but you could still do it um, where Rollins wins. Maybe you have um, Cormier beat down Riddle towards the end of the match. I don't know. Um, but I do think that Rollins will end up winning the match here. And then post match, the lights go out and we see the White Rabbit. And then we see Bray make his return. I mean, he didn't have to necessarily return there. He could just be on the apron or whatever. But he didn't have to say or do anything. He could just be there. And the crowd was huge for that. By just Bray just showing up. I think it will be a fun show. I'm very excited for Extreme Rules, and this more than likely will be a fun show. This is going to be a really solid, good show. I have high hopes that this is going to be a show that we won't forget for a while. I think that we're going to get a lot come Saturday. I really do. I think that Triple H is going to really go kind of balls to the walls to get everyone talking. I do think that Bray has to show up at Extreme Rules. The whole White Rabbit thing, in most fans' eyes, has gone on too long. For me, I would love for them to drag it out until Survivor Series, but because of today's society and how everyone has a short attention span, you might as well just go ahead and give the fans what they want. Go ahead and give us Bray now. Although I would much rather Bray return at Survivor Series, but it is what it is. The reason why I'm saying that is just because it's part of the Big Five, and you want Survivor Series to be special. But I'm fine with either. Whether he returns to Extreme Rules or Survivor Series, I'm fine with either. Because I've always been a fan of Bray. I love his character work, best in the game. But he probably will show up on Saturday. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. Okay, peace.
Alright.